Well, the Seahawks finally have their new head coach. It's 36-year-old Mike Macdonald. They go from the oldest coach in the league to the youngest.
Sports director Aaron Levine is here, so we want to hear your insight. Why is this a good hire?
Yeah, this is all about defense. Macdonald is considered one of the best defensive minds in the league. The Seahawks were in the bottom 6 in total defense last year. They gave up the second most rushing yards. Now you're getting a guy who led a defense that became the first since 1970 to lead the NFL in scoring defense, takeaways, and sacks in the same season. They held the Seahawks to just 3 points back in November, and the Ravens not only beat the 49ers last month, they finished with 5 interceptions in that game. Now, linebacker Roquan Smith called Macdonald a wizard for being able to identify opponent weaknesses and to exploit them. That's why it's a good hire for the Seahawks.
So who is Mike Macdonald? I mean, he's 36 years old.
Yeah, well, for one, he's a really smart guy, really smart. I mean, summa cum laude from Georgia's business school. In fact, he had a career in finance waiting for him before the Ravens hired him as a coaching intern 10 years ago. You take a look at his file here. He worked his way up under John Harbaugh as a defensive assistant, linebackers coach, and defensive backs coach. He was then hired by Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, where he turned that defense around from 106th in the country to 13th, according to ESPN's Power Index. And after that one season in Michigan, he went back to John Harbaugh with the Ravens to become their defensive coordinator. The numbers have been outstanding there. There is one big difference, though. You're not going to get the rah-rah guy that Pete Carroll was. Macdonald is a self-described introvert, so the press conferences might not be as exciting, but what matters is his ability to relate to his players on a one-on-one level, and by all accounts, he can do that.
Well, because you called him a self-proclaimed introvert, It makes me want to see that press conference even more. And when we do finally hear from him, what do you think his priorities will be?
Well, the next step, first off, is when we were going to hear from him. Okay, and that's going to be tomorrow. At 11 o'clock. We're going to have that for you live here on Fox 13. In the near term, the top priority from there is finding the right staff. People underestimate the ability to put a good staff together, and one might argue that Pete Carroll's coordinators were holding the team back the last couple of seasons. Let me give you one example here. Most people did not want Dan Quinn to be hired as Seahawks head coach, but in Quinn's first season as a head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, he assembled a staff that included Kyle Shanahan, Raheem Morris, Matt LaFleur, and Mike McDaniel, who are all currently NFL head coaches. So the question is, who can Mike Macdonald hire as his offensive coordinator? Can he put together a talented staff? That might be the biggest challenge for any first-time head coach like Macdonald. And then after that, it's his ability to turn this Seahawks defense around. We talked about the defensive struggles before. They need to be able to stop offenses in the NFC West. They need to be able to stop Sean McVay's offense. They need to stop Kyle Shanahan's offense. The Niners have beaten Seattle 5 straight times. That needs to end, guys. And Macdonald just might be the guy to do it. So fingers crossed there.
All right, that's okay. Let his actions speak louder than his words, for sure.
Yep.
Absolutely, Aaron.